Now, once upon a time in professional wrestling, it used to matter what the fans thought.
For example, all you parents out there with kids, when your kids misbehave, you give the New Day a call. The New Day comes over to your house, and we will fight your children.
Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of wrestling sucks, but when it's good, it's fucking great. Wrestling is melodrama. Wrestling is mythology. Wrestling is action. Wrestling is comic books. The only thing wrestling isn't is wrestling.
Who wants to take back professional wrestling?
Welcome to Around the Ring, episode 109. I am one half of your host, Silky Dave Brown. I'm joined with, from live on location in the Big Apple, Floyd Johnson Jr. How you doing this morning, sir?
I am doing well, sir. After last night, I am doing amazing. It made this whole trip worth it, and I haven't even went to SummerSlam yet.
Yeah, we're going to do a full review of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn III, but I'm going to say, man, I really feel bad for those guys and gals tomorrow night because they have something. There's no way that that SummerSlam's going to live up to what we just watched last night. Holy crap. But before we get on to that, since we do like to do things in a certain order, we didn't have a whole lot we wanted to talk about this week from the Week in Wrestling, other than Baron Corbin on SmackDown had a cash in on his Money in the Bank briefcase and screwed it up. He lost to a botch schoolboy at that. What'd you think about that?
The internet went crazy. I actually went to see a movie Tuesday night, because I figured it wasn't going to be that great a show because it was the go-home show of SummerSlam. And I'm getting text messages on the club. Wow, I can't believe that just happened. And it was crazy. I get home. And guess who spoils it for me? My WWE app. I see Baron Corbin cashes in and loses. But I go ahead and I watch SmackDown and I get to the point where it happens. And I'm looking for it, but I see signs that it wasn't going to happen. Because let's just say in all the times of the cash in, I remember maybe 2 or 3 times where the referee actually made the wrestler get up where they're prepared before the other person could attack them. So I thought I was like, something's up here. And then he gets him up. Jinder's ready, quote unquote ready. And Baron Corbin turns around to mess with John Cena, and Jinder Mahal gets the roll up. I wasn't as outraged as everyone else because you know what? The champions were made, titles changed hands long before Money in the Bank existed. So I know Baron Corbin didn't cash it in, but I still think the WWE thinks he's money. I think there's a lot of money to be made by him because people hate him. I mean, he is the naturally hated person. All he has to do is talk his regular mind how he feels about people and how he feels about himself, and people hate him. So he's money as a heel. So he will be world champion one day. Is it going to be by Money in the Bank? No, but he will be world champion one day.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that he is pissed off people in the back, and that is why the case was taken away from him. There's also a decent number of opinions out there that think it's WWE looks at him and realizes, oh, this guy isn't that great. And it's so funny. I think he has plateaued. There was a point when he first came in NXT, and he had this great presence, and people were going nuts because of his presence. And he was doing well, and then he just started getting better and better and better. And then it just got to the point where he stopped getting better. And I don't know if he's ever going to get any better. And I mean, he's serviceable. He's not bad, but he's not great. I would say in ring, he's probably better than Jinder Mahal, because I like Jinder Mahal, but the more I watch his matches, I realize this guy isn't very good in the ring.
Jinder Mahal is like 80s legend. And that's the problem. He wrestles a very old school style, and it's kind of boring. like the old school. But and let me say this, he doesn't really have a style with how he wrestles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not really aggressive. It's not really technical. It's just kind of like get the job done type thing. And it's very disjointed, and it takes him out of matches. Like, I don't see him having a great match with anyone because he wrestles that old school heel style. So, I don't know. He kind of bores me.
Yeah, he bores me too. I mean, I like him. I like his personality. I like his intensity. There's still something weird in his delivery on his promos, but I don't have anything against him. I just think he's not good in the ring. I mean, and God, can you imagine the snore fest that would be a Bobby Roode Jinder Mahal match?
Yeah, and I have to say, the most important thing you'll find for wrestling is, do you draw? Will people pay money to see you wrestle? I will not pay money to see Jinder Mahal wrestle.
No, I don't think anyone will, and I think that's one of the reasons why this, I suspect, come tonight, this experiment is over. Real quick, we in our predictions last week for SummerSlam, we did talk a lot about Baron Corbin probably cashing in and walking out with the WWE title. Now that that's off the table, who do you think wins the WWE title match? You think it's?
I mean, I honestly want Mahal to win because I do not want to have to deal with Shinsuke Nakamura promos. But it's in New York. It's going to be Nakamura.
Yeah, I think Nak is winning. Now, the interesting thing is to see how bad is this match going to be. Because you've got Nakamura, who is probably just going to skate through, even though this is a big, important match. He's with a guy who's not great in the ring. And you've got Jinder, who's just not great in the ring. So it's possibly going to be not very good. Also, I'm very curious of where this match is going to be placed in the card, because that's also going to be telling. The Universal Championship match is going on last, because it's got Brock and
I'm calling this the second-hour main event.
Second-hour main event? Okay, that'll work. And then you can have a cool-down match after that and a couple other matches to build back up and then get in. Okay, that'll be fair. And what I hope, though, is going forward at some point at either a Royal Rumble, a Survivor Series, something that the WWE title actually headlines and is the main event, because I want them to. It doesn't even
headline SmackDown. The U.S. title is way more important than the WWE title. I mean, look at the match tonight. You got the face that runs the place, AJ Styles versus the prize fighter Kevin Owens. And right now, his ultimate prize is the United States title, not the WWE title. And who's reffing the match? The head of SmackDown, Shane McMahon. It's just like, it's much more importance placed on this match than Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal.
Yep, that is true. And I just lost my train of thought. No, I do wonder where is that going to be placed on the card.
See, that's what I think is going to be the third-hour main event. I think it'll be that third-hour main event. But they generally like to put the women in a premium spot. So that I could see the women's match being the third-hour main event. But I honestly, AJ and KO, I'm hoping comes on pretty late in the card.
Yeah, and have there been any other matches since we're talking SummerSlam that have been added that we should?
The Miz Taraj versus Jason Jordan and the Hardys. It's a pre-show match.
Ah, yes, that is the match that screams, we had nothing else to do with you guys due to various factors.
The Revival getting hurt threw everything off.
Yeah.
So I think they were supposed to work with the Hardys tonight, and they got hurt. So it's like, we really don't have anything to do with the Hardys. Luke, Gallows and Anderson, you want to get them on the show. You didn't really have anything to do with them. And because I thought it was going to end up being the Hardys versus the Revival versus Gallows and Anderson in a triple threat match. And then it would be Jason Jordan versus Miz in an IC match. But when the Revival got hurt, they were like, well, we've done the Hardys and Gallows and Anderson on Raw like 2 weeks out of the last month. Why would that be on SummerSlam? And, Jason Jordan, fans turn on you if they feel you're giving too much anyway. So if you give Jason Jordan a title shot, there's a good chance the people in New York are going to turn on him.
Yeah.
Because he's giving too much. So you put him in that match, he gets the rub from the Hardys. The Miz Taraj, of course, the Miz is super over right now. And he brings, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, and because of that, they're over too. So you're looking at that, so it ends up being a better match.
Good point. I think either one of two things happens. Jordan either pins Bo or Curtis, or the Miz pins Jordan.
See, I saw Jordan pinning the Miz so they can set up their program for the IC title. I mean, even though they're not going to learn, and I mean, they need to learn their lesson. I understand you're building Jason Jordan up, but the best way to do it is slowly. It is to have them teaming up and give him a minor feud. Because if you give him the IC title next month, or give him the IC title in the next couple months, they are literally going to kill his career.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and I'm looking over this list real quick. Nothing else. So Tozawa won the title on Monday. Apparently, that happened after I stopped watching. So
yeah, and I thought, I am the actual 205 Live fan. I watch it every week. I thought Tozawa winning on Monday was a little desperate. I feel like he's just going to lose the belt again tonight. I'm hoping that's not the case. His snap German was one of the best finishers in wrestling. And for some reason, they went to an elevated senton that looks, because he gets so high, it looks really, really weak. See, it looks like, I think I could see him going to the senton and then someone rolling him up and pinning him right after.
Yeah, true. His snap German is 1,000 times better. Why he's not doing that, unless they're afraid that he might hurt somebody, or because Brock does the Germans, I don't know. But they need to, at the very least, let him bring that back occasionally. There was Neville was for a minute when they showed Neville in the crowd at TakeOver, I thought he might get involved in something, maybe with Aleister Black. But then there's also talk that he and Pete Dunne have been going back and forth on Twitter. So maybe he's going to challenge Pete Dunne and move on to the UK division if that ever becomes a thing. So who knows? Maybe Neville, after this, he loses and he moves on to something else, and Tozawa starts, with the cruiserweight division. Let's talk about the thing we actually want to talk about, which was NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 from last night in the Barclays Center. You were there, and I watched it almost live, and all I can say is, holy fuck, that was incredible.
Five matches, A+ show. I mean, the crowd was live. It was amazingly into it. I'm not talking about the wrestling yet. The crowd was live. Everybody was pumped up. It had, Triple H called it TakeOver Brooklyn, the WrestleMania of NXT, and that's what it felt like. That was the feeling in the crowd, that everybody was expecting a lot to happen. And when you come in, especially with WWE shows, and you come in pumped up, do you come in pumped up, and then they always underperform, and it's just not what you expected. But this time, no, it wasn't the case. They over-delivered. They treated it like a big show. And, I know the WWE, as far as the main roster, is on a bigger platform, but they could have learned so much from this show.
Oh, and they should learn a lot from this show. I mean, it seems there's become a consistency that anytime there's a takeover the same weekend as a WWE pay-per-view, the takeover always outperforms. Maybe with the exception of WrestleMania weekend, but even then, I think the ones that have been on WrestleMania weekend have been better. It's just so much better, and to me, Triple H made a comment this week about, he was asked about what he thinks WWE's biggest competition is. And he essentially said, look, WWE's biggest competition is NXT. And he's kind of right. I mean, that even though you could, depending on how you look at it, if you think of a WWE as a big mammoth corporation with lots of little companies that are part of it, like how Time Warner has all these smaller companies that are a part of it, And sometimes those smaller companies, even though they're under the same corporate banner, will compete with each other. From that standpoint, NXT very much is the main roster's biggest competition. I think realistically, if you talk about actual separate companies, New Japan is its biggest competition. But
and look, I was going to go. I had thought about a point of this. If you look at the WWE Network subscribers and how many people watch NXT, right? Which more people watch NXT that you actually have a number for that counts than watch New Japan Wrestling.
At least in America.
And the reason I say that is because most people I know watch New Japan on illegal streams.
Yeah. I mean, what? No, I don't do that.
No, see, anyway. I mean, like everybody I know watches it on illegal stream. I don't know anyone that subscribes to the New Japan world, and that's what counts.
True.
You know, I mean, everybody could watch Raw, but if you're not doing it in a way that they can count you, it doesn't matter to them because they can't use that to sell revenue to advertisers.
That's a great point.
I mean, Heroes, a TV show on NBC, was the most pirated and downloaded show ever. So more people were watching Heroes than was watching any other television show on the network. But they couldn't count it. You can't sell that. So it got canceled.
Yeah, good point. If New Japan does get those contracts that there have been rumors about with Ring of Honor and with Rev Pro and with a few other promotions to put their stuff on New Japan World, I will probably sign up, depending on my money situation at the time. But it's like I don't subscribe to the WWE Network right now, though after tonight I may have to re-up that sucker again. Let's get into the show. So we opened up with a shitty metal band. What was that like in the stadium?
So they're called Agent Orange, right?
No, Code Orange.
Corn Orange. All right.
Agent Orange was a punk band from the late 70s and early 80s, a surf punk band, and also something that killed people in Vietnam.
I actually took a picture of it, and I still don't remember it. You couldn't understand a word they said. I don't know if that came off better on TV. Couldn't understand. It just was really loud music, and it's not my type of music anyway, so I can't tell you whether it's good or not. But everybody in my section thought it was shitty.
Yeah, and at first when that came on, I was like, why? And then I realized, I was like, oh yeah, I think they're going to have a live band for Aleister Black's entrance. And that was, I think, the whole reason they were there. But anytime you do, because wrestling fans are such this vast cross-section of people, it's not like, it's not like if you go to a rap festival or a punk festival or something where everyone there has a similar taste in music. When you go to wrestling, you've got rap fans, you've got metal fans, you've got country fans, you got people that don't like music, and bringing on a musical guest is always an iffy proposition, I think.
Well, they did it the perfect way. They did it at the beginning of the show almost as an extended intro, and that was perfect.
Yeah, true, because normally they're just playing video packages during that time anyway.
And they would have, if they would have tried to do it in the middle of the show, it would have killed the show.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly. So the show opened up with Johnny Gargano taking on Andrade Cien Almas. Huge pop for Johnny Wrestling.
I was talking to my friend Steve. I actually, I mean, I know there was only five matches, but I predicted the actual order each of the show, and I gave a good reason why. So I started this match. I was like, what they're going to want to do is get the crowd into the show. So, of course, Gargano's music is going to immediately get everybody in the show. And if you would have heard that, I mean, the live pop when you're there was one of the strongest of the night.
Oh yeah, this was, you know what, hats off to you guys. That crowd last night was fantastic. I mean, the whole time going absolutely berserk. I mean, yeah, it was just great. So this was an excellent match. Then there was
it was hard hitting. Almost really showed me something last night. I mean, I know he was good on the indies, but it's starting to translate into his WWE work. And I think I can't remember. I call her Thea Trinidad. I can't remember her actual Zelina
Vega.
Zelina Vega. See, I can't even remember her NXT name. I'm going to remember it. That's who she's going to become eventually. But still in my mind, she's Thea Trinidad. So Zelina Vega adds so much to his character. Did she? Okay, so at the end, I was not far away. I was in the hundreds, but I couldn't tell. Did she throw a DIY shirt at him?
She did.
And and that was the distraction that helped him get it.
I was wondering how that part came off on their live, because that was definitely something that you could tell on TV what she did. But yeah, that was the distinctive blue DIY shirt, and it was enough for Almas to get the hit that wicked drop kick and then hit his hammerlock DDT. Now here I got to say something. Earlier in the match, Almas hit an inverted tornado DDT. That needs to be his finishing move. That was awesome.
I actually thought that was it.
Oh, that was so cool. I've never seen anyone do that. And I think that should become his finishing move, because I'm not even the way he does the hammerlock DDT, it looks like it sucks, and is definitely more effective than just a straight DDT, but it's kind of cumbersome to set up, and it's not one of those moves you can really hit out of nowhere. But then again, neither is an inverted tornado DDT, so maybe that argument goes away. This was easily Almas's best match in NXT, like hands down, no question, by far. And I think this did wonders for him, and also it makes Johnny Gargano even more sympathetic.
I mean, he's the Sami Zayn in the NXT. He is the lovable kind of. I wouldn't even call him a loser, because he's won enough. But he's one of those people that he's so over. Johnny Wrestling is so over with the winky eye character. There was a whole section of people with the paper and the face on it. He's so over. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses, because when he does, they do that run where he wins, and I think eventually becomes the NXT champion, because it would be stupid not to give him the belt. Because it would be stupid not to give him the belt. At that point, he'd just be monster over, and you could build a heel just on beating Gargano for the title.
Oh yeah, because whoever does it's going to be a dastardly piece of crap. Then I don't know if you guys saw this in the crowd, but they showed up in the box seats Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan. Kurt Angle was sitting there with Roderick Strong. Daniel Bryan was sitting with Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, and then behind them was No Way Jose and some other lady. So this got me thinking, are we going to see on SmackDown Billy Kay and Peyton Royce soon? I mean, I think they dropped some hints during the show about who's going where in the shakeup.
Yeah, there's definitely spoilers. For friend Steve, who is one of my ultimate travel companions, he actually got the VIP experience in NXT. So he was about 2 suites over from that. And, the wrestlers would come in and take pictures of him. And he says it looks like Billy and Peyton are going to debut on SmackDown at that first show in September. I guess they're going to announce the Superstar Shakeup this week.
Good, because there's nothing else for those two to do in NXT. Hell, there hasn't been much for them to do in NXT for a long time. They were...
Wow. What were you saying? Okay, go for it.
Just they came in from Australia with, they just needed a little tweaking here and there for WWE. They're both very good. They have a lot of potential, and you can definitely see them. They're both beautiful, so I can see the main roster folks, hopefully not screwing them up.
Well, my thing was, I was hoping they debuted on Raw, and I was hoping they debuted with Emma in some sort of Australian-type faction, where she announces that she was tired of waiting on that opportunities. She decided to take them, and that would be cool. But they could also do that same thing on SmackDown, because she keeps asking for her opportunity. And what is SmackDown's catchphrase?
Yep, land of opportunity. And that would be
so
perfect to move Emma over there, because I think she would do much better on
especially
SmackDown.
Especially with them. I mean, that automatically makes her a power. You know, the iconic trio, if you wanted to go there, that would make her a power and automatically put her in the title picture. And you know, on SmackDown, they're much better at using their women.
Yes, much better. Corey Graves came out to a huge pop. You guys went nuts for Corey Graves when they announced him. Though I did right before that when they were announced trending number one on the world. I was like, oh God, why'd you say that? That was cringy. But then Corey Graves came out and place went nuts. Did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, Corey Graves. Corey Graves is so over. I mean, he's my favorite personality other than Mauro Ranallo. The only thing is, when you have a 3-man team and then you add a 4th member, it just seems really crowded.
Yeah, Percy Watson, he was smart during this. He just basically shut up and just stayed to the back, because you had these 3 other very dominant personalities in Nigel, Mauro, and Corey. And so Percy Watson, I think, had a feeling that, yep, I am the 4th man out here. I'm just going to shut up and occasionally say something, which was good. I actually loved hearing Corey Graves back, and I thought bringing him in for the tag team title match kind of made sense. At first, I was like, why is he coming out for this? And then when they talked about him being a former tag champion, it all made sense. Speaking of, we had Sanity challenging the Authors of Pain for the tag team titles. I love how Authors of Pain just started out the match by just jumping Sanity and going nuts. I hate their gear. They got to get. What's up with all the flight gear, like the army, the military gear? I guess it kind of goes. It goes with their character more than it goes with Roman Reigns. But I'm sick of seeing that crap.
On their shirt it says "War is my peace," so they very much come out with the Soldiers of Fortune type gear. That's their thing. Their every match is a war for them. I want to give a special shout out. So I feel like the MVP of this match was Alexander Wolf.
Oh man, he was
I
so
did not know he was that good.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you know his performance was that great, because I really wanted to give the MVP to Nikki Cross, because that bump she took was, I know it was supposed to be more protected, but if you see the replay, it wasn't. She just got squashed between 200-300-pound people.
Yeah, that was, and I love that. And the crowd, I love how they just kind of, because they were facing these 2 guys who are hated because of what happened with DIY, and they just de facto became the baby faces. But they ate it up. They fully went babyface in the way they worked the match, and Nikki, the way she jumped up on that top rope. And I loved Eric Young joining the match. I thought that was great. The whole thing, this was a great freaking match. So first of all, Gargano and Almas, excellent match. I mean, you know, it's 4.5 stars if we're going to do the Meltzer method. Easy. And then you've got this match, excellent. And this, you know, it's sometimes you wonder, is Authors of Pain only good when they have great opponents? And granted, maybe this match showed us that Sanity is really freaking good, because Alexander Wolf, wow, he was just a revelation in this, like you said. But this, it was like the Luke Harper cutting out party, where you finally got to see him really, really work, like some singles matches on SmackDown. You're like, man, Luke Harper's a lot better than I thought. He's one of the best wrestlers, you know. He's one of the best big men that they have. And it was the same thing with Alexander Wolf. I mean, his character was so much a secondary character to Eric Young. It was like, this match, he did most of the work, and he was the featured performer for Sanity, and he held his own. Yes, he did. And then came Red Dragon. So Sanity wins, place is going nuts, and then out of nowhere, Red Dragon shows up and beats the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah, and this the pop for them, of course, if you're going to debut Red Dragon as Red Dragon, New York is the best place to do it. home, pretty much the de facto home of Ring of Honor, even though they're based in New Jersey, but the de facto home of Ring of Honor. The crowd went crazy. It was the second biggest pop of the night, and I'll tell you, we'll talk about the biggest pop a little later. But they came in and dominated, very much working their styles. Triple H sticks to his word. I'm not trying to change you. I just want to give you a bigger platform. And for NXT, there is no bigger platform than TakeOver Brooklyn. And they took over.
That they did. Okay, hey.
It very much had an NWO feel to it.
Oh my God, yeah. Especially with what's coming later. The tag team match. So, anything else you want to talk about with that? With Red Dragon?
I don't know if they heard without the static, but I said it came off with a very NWO feel. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall running in and then taking out and they beat up everybody. Everybody got a you still saw the carnage of Killian Dane. You still saw the carnage of Killian Dane, Nikki Cross, and AOP on the ground. AOP sold well this match. What's kind of funny is that they didn't get to hit any of their signature moves, like the Super Collider or anything like that. It was just more of they played the show off like they were caught off guard. Like Sanity just that chaos threw them off because they're all about strategy. Sanity's all about chaos. And it was one of the few times I can say that storyline played out in the match and how the match was done.
Yeah, one of my favorite spots was that moment where AOP did the backdrop to Eric Young, and the other AOP member caught him in the was it Argentine backbreaker, and then did that slam right on his face. I thought that was fantastic, and part of me is like, hey, that could be a new finishing move for those guys. That was so cool, beautifully done. Yeah, AOP really showed a lot. They have come a long way, and yeah, I think all of these guys. I mean, I think we all knew Eric Young was good in the ring. Well, some people don't like him, but he shined in this match. They all shined, and then Red Dragon just freaking tearing everyone apart was awesome, and standing in the ring looking all pissed. Oh, that was great. I did notice in commentary, Nigel McGuinness did call their finishing move Chasing the Dragon, but they never called them Red Dragon. So I almost wonder if they will be called Red Dragon. I really hope they will. But yeah, this was great. And okay, so remind me, there's something I want to say about commentary, because I'm sure you didn't hear it, but something I want to say about commentary with the other big reveal of the night.
Okay.
So we'll get to there in a minute. Then we had probably the hardest hitting match of the night. Hideo Itami taking on Aleister Black with Jim Ross on commentary. Huge pop for JR. Not quite sure why he was here, other than to have JR. But yeah, how did what did you guys think when JR came out? I mean, that was so random.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. We got the super pop. We kept doing dun dun, but after the moment of everybody being excited, everybody's like, "Why is he here? This isn't a UK match. This isn't like why." Yeah. But we enjoyed it. It was like, hopefully he actually knew who was wrestling.
He did. His commentary in this was so much better. Now, granted, he really sat back. Both he and Percy, and Percy sat back most of the night. I think he knows that's his role. He sits back and adds flavor occasionally. But Jim held back. He added good points when there was stuff for him to add, but really it was Morrow and Nigel were the ones running the show.
This was the most New Japan match of the night.
Holy fuck. Yeah. And they showed Neville, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Kalisto in the crowd. And Neville just looking super pissed.
So Neville comes out, they do the video shot, and he leaves. Nakamura and Kalisto stay for the whole match.
Really? Okay. Well, good.
Yeah. A lot of people that they were doing was one shots, but I guess they had a choice whether they stayed or not. They stayed.
Well, I can see. And aren't Nakamura and Itami are friends, right? If I'm not mistaken.
They're both Japanese. That's all I know.
Yeah, there you go. So I will say the live band entrance for Aleister Black was awesome. I thought that was really, really cool.
Let me just tell you, most people didn't even know that was a different band.
No, that was Code Orange. That was the same band.
It was the same band? I thought, what's the band called that does?
His theme? I thought it was the CFO's theme. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
But whoever, it was that same band, but whoever sings his song was singing with them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Singing was, and I think that's what really most people were like, wow, they got better. Seriously, everybody's like, they got better.
Yeah, their singer, that lady on guitar, she's not a great vocalist, but the dude who was doing the Aleister Black song sounded really good.
Yes. Can you tell me any words of the Aleister Black song?
No.
Like when the crowd was singing, everybody was going, and no one knew what he sang. They were just kind of yelling gibberish because no one knows any of the words now.
Yeah, no one knows. No one knows. And you're right. This was one of Hideo Itami's. This was Hideo Itami's best match in NXT, I think, and that's a theme for this night. Hideo Itami's best match. Aleister Black's obviously hardest competition, his best match, and that's saying because he just came off those two excellent matches with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. So this was just he got busted open in his nose or his mouth at some point. Oh my God, this was my notes are in all capital letters followed by many exclamation points. Great fucking match. Probably match of the night, I would say. This was so good. And that's
and I was like, and of course, me, I'm not trying to just always be. I was like, man, there was a lot of punching and kicking in this match.
Oh, but
I enjoy wrestling.
Okay, so that is it's almost impossible to pick a best match of the night. I mean, there's easy to pick a air quotes worst match of the night. Not that there were any bad matches, but there was definitely one that I think was not as good as the other four. And we'll get to it later. But this was so much fun. The intensity was incredible. Aleister Black got the win. And this was awesome. So good. Anything else from the crowd standpoint?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just say it did a really good job, and then the finisher came out of nowhere, which that's what was necessary for this match. I would like to see Aleister Black have some kind of hold finisher, not just stick with the kick.
See, I love the kick. I love that finisher because that's something I can see in real life. Hitting someone with a spinning heel kick like that, or it's actually not even a heel kick, a spinning kick like that right on the jaw will knock your ass out. So
but I like wrestling.
Yeah, but I do too.
That's not wrestling.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that. So, did you get the feeling at all that this might be Hideo Itami's last appearance in NXT?
I feel like he's getting called up.
Yeah, I do too. And this was a hell of a way to go out. You have your best match. You put over the new guy, this was incredible. And that takes us to the women's championship match. Ember Moon challenging Asuka.
Ember Moon's not even close. Not even close. Her best match I've ever seen her perform.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm going to say again, main roster. I mean, if they want to ever focus on wrestling, if they ever want to decide that they're a wrestling company again, this is how you get someone over even when they lose.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yes.
Ember Moon went into this match, and everybody was like, she came out of this match over. She came out of this match ready for me to give her the NXT title.
Exactly. This was done perfectly because I think a lot of people just figured it was a foregone conclusion that she was going to win, and I think a lot of people had the opinion of she's not there yet, she's not quite ready for it, or they haven't built her properly. And then you have this match, and just from the opening bell when she just goes after Asuka immediately, the intensity, the fire in this match, Asuka finally put in a chicken wing that looked great. I mean, Marty Scurll would have been proud. Because that chicken wing she had at the end, that Asuka lock, her Ember's shoulder looked like it was about to pop out. The whole thing was just excellent. I thought after this match was over, I was like, how do these matches keep getting better and better? I mean, really, this fucking show. Oh my god. But yeah, this Asuka kicked out of the Eclipse, and she sold that. I loved the way she bounced and fell on her face. And yeah, and I'm ready. Yeah, if they put Ember Moon over, if they had another match, say at the TakeOver at Survivor Series, and Ember wins there, I'm completely fine with that, because my god, this girl is awesome. She still needs to improve on her promos a little bit, but she is now completely over, and she won over, I think, the NXT fan base. It was just incredible. And here's my question though. In this match, because you had Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Sasha Banks all at ringside. And there were times throughout the match where Asuka was eyeing them. And in fact, there's that one moment she had this armbar on. It was basically the disarmer. And you couldn't tell from the shot, but I think she was looking right at Becky. So do you think this is the call-up moment for Asuka or for Ember Moon? Because I could see either one of these women.
Triple H said over the weekend he felt like it would kill the division to call Asuka up. He's been begging Vince not to call Asuka up, so we'll see there. He actually said that in an interview this weekend. Me personally, my goal, my end game for Asuka has always been to debut on SmackDown or Raw, and that night, a la Paige, become the whatever title, Raw or SmackDown champion. I think Raw is the best one for her, and she, like Alexa Bliss beats up Sasha Banks tonight, and then Asuka debuts tomorrow and just kicks the holy hell out of that Alexa Bliss, and she walks out the new champion, and then the NXT can do a women's tournament that culminates at TakeOver Houston, and we NXT Houston, and that's when it, like the official passing of the torch. Asuka comes after the match and hands her belt to whoever wins the tournament.
I like that. And what I would even do on that is I would have whoever wins the Mae Young Classic is in the finals of the tournament with whoever wins the tournament. So NXT has a tournament, and that winner of that tournament faces the winner of the Mae Young Classic. And that way you make the Mae Young Classic important.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
So,
and
yeah,
like I said, Asuka hands over the belt, and she leads her NXT career undefeated.
I think that would be perfect. And I actually disagree with Triple H. I think in some ways, other than being a draw, I think she's kind of holding the division down. I mean, granted, she showed in this match that she is beatable, because Ember Moon almost had her on a few occasions. But it's how is there any room for these other women to grow when you have this monster holding the title? In a lot of ways, it's kind of the same thing with Brock holding the belt. Can anyone else grow? So I'm with you. I'd rather her show up and just take one of the women's championships and just say, look, I've got both, and then her have a conversation with Regal and say, okay, that's fine. I will relinquish the title, but I'm not giving it up until you crown a new champion, and I will hand it to her that night. That I love that idea. So it's probably not going to happen, but I love that idea, and I loved this match. This was incredible. And then we have the main event. Drew McIntyre challenging Bobby Roode for the NXT title. So is it just me, or was Drew, when he came out, not that over?
He was not over. Bobby Roode was way more over. Bobby Roode is way more over. But Bobby Roode's style puts me to sleep.
If he didn't have hit that theme song, he would not be over the way he is.
Yeah, because I had a hard time staying up during the awake during the match.
Yeah, so okay, so I'm not alone to think this was the least good match of the night.
It was a good match, but yeah, it was the least good match of the night, and I hate Drew McIntyre's finish.
Oh, the sick kick?
I guess.
It's a variation. I mean, it's the same move Roddy uses, but Roddy's looks better.
Why does a 6'6", 250-pound, I mean, this dude towers over Bobby Roode. Why does he need to use a kick?
I can see that.
I'm just like, I mean, the Future Shock is the best looking double arm DDT in wrestling, period. And it should be his finisher.
Yeah, but he can't have that because Dean has that.
And that's the whole thing. If NXT and Raw and SmackDown are considered different brands, why can't multiple people have the same finisher?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Because he's not doing the move on Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, though I wouldn't mind seeing him do it on Dean Ambrose.
And Dean Ambrose just looks like garbage. It doesn't even look like it hurts.
That is also true. That is very true.
Yes, so you're letting a weaker version of a move be the primary version of that said move.
Yep.
I don't like it.
But I will say that even though I felt like the crowd got into this match more as it went, and even though it had the dubious distinction of being the worst match, it's still being a really good match on a card of phenomenal matches. I think by the end, the crowd was into it. When McIntyre got the win, there was a good pop. I think they were shocked. I don't think anyone really expected Bobby Roode to lose the title.
And to such a weak move. You know, he's been in the WWE. He does that whole the glorious DDT and picks him up and does the glorious DDT again. I just felt like it would be a higher impact move. It just looked like it was the regular end of the match on a normal NXT show. It was just very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I think it was just, that's the thing with a move like a kick. If you have it well placed out of the middle of nowhere, you can knock somebody out.
I mean, and that's true, but it was just anticlimactic. It just didn't. I mean, to me, at least should have kicked out of one and then he had to hit another one. It was just, he got the kick, and it was great. It just didn't come off as that moment where the glorious reign of Bobby Roode should have ended. It just came. It ended. It went out with a whimper, not a thud.
So now, are we in the shakeup? Are we seeing Bobby Roode show up in the main roster?
No, I don't think so. I think NXT is very much realizing, you only have one title as far as the world title. As far as the men's title, you need a blood feud, and I think we're about to see a Bobby Roode, Roderick Strong blood feud, and that's going to be like the really secondary feud of the NXT, and I would like it to go on like 6 months to a year, where they're like beating crap out of each other.
I would be good. I would be okay with that because they had such a good match on NXT, and technically, because of Roode's interference, Roddy did win that match. So, excuse me, he gets his match against Bobby Roode. I suspect Roode will get a rematch, if not at the next TakeOver on NXT TV soon. I think probably, if not, shake up, I think probably Royal Rumble time, and if not by then, by Mania next year, Bobby Roode's going to be heading up to the main roster. Because it sounds like, at least if the rumors are true, they're going to do 2 shakeups a year, one at SummerSlam, one at Mania. So if that's true, I think Roode is heading up. And Roode's a guy. I'm not it's so weird. Some people you see on NXT, you're like, oh my god, I'd love to see him on the big stage, and then you realize, nope, they'll fuck that guy up. And Bobby Roode's a guy that's like, they won't screw him up. They'll know what to do with that guy.
Yeah, and the only way I see Bobby Roode working, like really working, is he has to come in and be the guy for like a heel GM, or like he has to be Stephanie's guy. She's like, I've been away for a long time, and I've been watching all these guys be the champion and all that stuff. I need a guy that really is going to elevate Raw to that next level, to where it is truly the dominant brand. And you know what? The only person I see doing that is Glorious, and that's how they have to do it. Bobby Roode, to me, has to lose he can't lose a lot. I mean, that's the whole thing about being the Glorious champion. I mean, we've only seen him take like 2, maybe 3 pins in his whole NXT career. And I think that works for his character.
Yeah, and his runs have been really good. I mean, I've loved his run as champion. I really did. The more I think about this match, the more I like it. But it was the match that was the least compelling of the night. And then they got us once last time when they put up the little, hey, it's the graphic that we're going off the air, and then something happened. They tried to do it again, because you didn't see this, but as Drew McIntyre standing in the ring, the graphics up with the copyright, yada yada yada, and then you see because the hard cam's looking at McIntyre, and then the corner to the right, the crowd is just standing up going freaking berserk. And then it pans and it shows Red Dragon on the corner. And McIntyre turns around and goes to confront them. And then the moment I've been waiting for so long. Adam Cole, baby. He showed up. Oh, it was so good. And they beat the crap out of McIntyre. He hit a super kick. And, oh my God, the place went nuts. Was that, for you guys, that was the biggest pop of the night, I'm guessing?
Oh, yeah, that was the biggest pop of the night. The building, I mean, I honestly felt the seat that I was in shake. I mean, it was the biggest pop of the night. New York City, that's where you do it. That's where you bring Adam Cole, baby. He was in front of his people, and there was not a person sitting down. At all. And look, I did forget to say this. Ember Moon got a standing ovation. I don't know if they played that on TV.
They did. That's why. That's also when I asked in that match if this was her, if she was about to be called up, because it felt like either a beginning of a really strong run, because Becky Lynch had that match. Was it against Sasha or was it against Charlotte? When she just had that phenomenal match at a takeover and lost, and she got a standing O as she walked out. So yeah, no.
But I don't want to take away from, honestly, the NWO moment of the last 10 years. I mean, honestly, this is the best NWO moment since the NWO. I mean, maybe the Shield debuting on the same, but no one knew who the Shield was. You know who these three guys are. You know what they do. And it came off very much like they weren't supposed to be there, like the Nash Hall and Hogan thing. That, they're coming, I even said this statement, as lame as it may be, they didn't come to take part, they came to take over. And it came off like that. It came off like the beginning of DX, the beginning of the NWO. It came off very much that feel that what's about to happen is about to be something special.
Oh yeah. And they made, you could tell, they made these three guys look so important. They just, the way they stood there, and then they actually went off air, but they came back on a WWE.com exclusive and showed the three of them, walking up the entrance ramp, and then Adam Cole doing his Adam Cole baby, and the place just going fucking berserk for that and screaming along. So here's what I wanted to say about the commentary. So a lot of times on the main roster, especially if JBL is on there, somebody shows up and immediately he starts rattling off their accolades. Two-time IWGP heavyweight champion, this and this, and NWA champion, blah blah blah. He did that with Sting. He did that with AJ Styles. Here, all they were like is, "Oh my God, it's Adam Cole," and there were a couple Bebe references thrown in there, and it was just all about the moment. And they weren't rattling off, three-time Ring of Honor champion, which Morrow did mention Ring of Honor when Fish and O'Reilly were out earlier and taking on when they took out all the tag teams. So so I guess the Ring of Honor faction is made. I was a little surprised that Roddy wasn't part of it, but I think having just these three guys together, and I do kind of hope they explain that the fact that the three of them have history, sometimes a bloody history, but they decided that if they were going to come here, they were going to take it over together.
Yeah.
And I think you can. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the person with me was like, what would you name this group? And I wanted to get your opinion on it, because I feel like you come up with pretty good stuff like that. What would you name this group?
Oh, damn. Oh, God. I don't even know.
I was thinking if you're going to play off the ROH thing, you could call them Rise of Honor. Because, they're all trying to elevate themselves in the company. I was thinking, I was trying to think, I was like, the WWE, since, they've been planning this so long, they have a cool name, but it's just like, you're trying to guess. I'm a Supernatural fan, so I was like, man, they could be called Men of Honor, but then I realized Supernatural has, Men of Honor in there, so I didn't know if that would cause any problems there. But I don't know. They're going to come up with a much better name that I can think of, but I can't wait.
I know. I'm looking for that first promo when they hit Full Sail, and I really hope Adam Cole starts out with it's story time with Adam Cole, baby. I just think that would be so hilarious.
And if they do a Team ROH versus Team NXT thing, I would still laugh, because you're like, oh, Team NXT, Drew McIntyre's been there for 4 months.
Yeah.
How are you going to lead in Team NXT? You're barely minting there. You barely mint NXT.
Yeah, I mean, it would be McIntyre, Cassius Ohno, and maybe even Roderick Strong. And maybe that's the moment where Roddy turns. I don't. I kind of want. The more I think about it, I don't want Roddy part of this. Even though it would make sense, he and Adam Cole were in Mount Rushmore and PWG together, so they all have history. But I would rather see, like you were mentioning, I'd see Roderick Strong in a blood feud against Bobby Roode, and then Adam Cole and Red Dragon just do other stuff. I think by the time it's all said and done, you're going to see Adam Cole as NXT champion and Red Dragon as the tag team champions, and they're going to come out with all the gold. And I think that'll be so freaking cool. But this made me so happy. There were so many times throughout this entire night that I was just sitting in my chair, bouncing up and down, super excited. I'm sure if anyone saw me, they'd think I was a mental patient. It was just so good. I feel so bad for SummerSlam tonight, because I can't imagine that there is any way that show is going to compete with TakeOver. TakeOver was that freaking good.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if you didn't guess, this match is a 5-star, A+. Whatever your maximum rating that you can have on the show, this show hit it. I would love Triple H. And I know this wouldn't happen. This is like the dramatized soap opera version of life that comes from being a wrestling fan. I would love Triple H to just go look Vince McMahon in the face and say, top that.
Well, yeah, there was that. Yeah, oh, yeah.
And it was just like, I just want him to say that, top that. Because if SummerSlam, to me, is 3/4 as good as what TakeOver was, as far as the amount of emotional moments, returns, things like that. If it is 3/4 as good as TakeOver, this will be the best wrestling weekend I've ever had.
Yeah, good call. It was incredible. Now, so you're in New York. Have there been a lot of other indie shows or things going on?
No, they have blocked it. So there was one show. Is it House of Glory? It's ran by Amazing Red, and that was on Friday night. And Bret Hart was the special guest. But everything was last week. There was 2 Progress shows last week. House of Hardcore show last week. Everything was last week, and I think that has everything to do with almost like an exclusivity deal that WWE has with Brooklyn. Because honestly, NXT, you could still buy tickets right when you were coming up, you could still buy tickets. So it didn't sell well, but I think it's because they locked down the city for the WWE. That's why they're getting a 4th one next year, which
I came in this weekend and I was like, I'm doing this once. But my boy Rusty, who's been at me, NXT is his favorite show, and he's been with me at a lot of these shows. He didn't get to come this year, so I think I'm going to have to make that special trip.
Very nice. Yeah, I heard and I really wish I'd actually watched it. The Progress and Evolve had some joint shows last weekend, and apparently there was controversy because the building was super hot, and I guess Twitter to some extent got bloated up and angry. But I don't follow things like that on Twitter because I'm not on Twitter enough to follow things like that. But yeah, I'm probably going to go back and watch that. There's so much that I need to watch. What's so funny is watching this show reminded me just how much I freaking love NXT. And I watched some of this week's, or one of the most recent Ring of Honor episodes, and I really enjoyed what I saw. And it just kind of, the more I think about it, I'm like, sometimes, other than doing the show, it's like, why do I waste my time with Raw and SmackDown? Because this was a question we were going to pose at some point for an episode. And I think we'll go into it in more detail at some other time. But the question of, can you follow the WWE without watching the weekly programming? I can tell you emphatically yes, because I don't consistently watch the weekly programming, but I watch all the pay-per-views, and I don't feel like I lose much of anything. Of anything, it's like in my head, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to start really prioritizing what I'm watching, I might start putting 205 Live over Raw. I think it's going to be, as far as like main roster stuff, SmackDown and 205 Live are going to start taking priority over Raw. And that's just, unless there's something really cool happens, that's probably how I'm going to go. And then I'm going to make more time for Ring of Honor and other things. Because that's one, I would like us to cover more than just, Raw and SmackDown. And me just going, hey, I didn't watch it this week. What happened?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, 205 Live and 205 Live, the NXT, and my occasional foray into New Japan, that gets my wrestling thing going. The Raw and SmackDown are more of the entertainment shows. They are more of the soap opera. And that's my problem with Raw and SmackDown, is that the storylines aren't great. I'm like, if you're not going to give us great wrestling, you have to give us great storylines.
Agreed. Absolutely. So, we talked about a top 5 for this week. For our top 5 current promotions, did you have a chance to put that together?
I didn't. I've been so busy with Brooklyn. Everything's expensive here. I'm going to just say number 1 is NXT. That's all I got.
Okay. You and I agree. We'll hit that one later on. But
because I would like to elaborate more on what I mean. Just like I said, to me, it's like, are you doing top five shows where wrestling is on it, or top 5 wrestling shows? Because I don't even consider Raw and SmackDown wrestling shows.
There you go. We will hit that topic another time. And now, normally after a pay-per-view, we do a review on Mondays. You are going to be in the car driving back home, so we will not do that.
25 hours.
Oh, God bless you.
I'm going to, honestly, after the show, I'm going to try to record and send you something. If I can't, we'll just do the recap next week.
Sounds good. And don't make it you're going to be exhausted. You're going to be there for like 8 hours. It's going to be like working a full day at work.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's not a priority. It's just, I'm hoping that we get the show that I want to get for once, and I'm so pumped up that I need to record something.
Well, hopefully that happens. If it does, great, and I will add my 2 cents. If not, then we will talk about it next week.
So you realize, we're basically telling you, if you don't have a recording tomorrow for SummerSlam, that means it basically wasn't worth watching.
Pretty much. In a lot of ways, I'm almost more interested to see what happens Monday afterwards and Tuesday afterwards, to see who might show up where.
Yes.
And are they doing the shake-up this weekend, or are they doing it because it would be easy to do it?
They generally just announce it for next week.
Okay. Because in a lot of ways, it would make sense to do it this weekend because everyone is there. Literally, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, they're all there. It makes it real easy. People don't have to change travel plans or anything. So yeah. Well, you have any other thoughts from the Big Apple before we get out of here?
I can't wait to watch the live. I can't wait to watch the recorded. I'm going to watch TakeOver again with the commentary. I can't wait. Mauro Ranallo's like one of my favorite human beings. If I was going to say if there was a third biggest pop of the night, it was when Mauro got announced at the beginning before they got to the show. Everybody went crazy for him. TakeOver made this weekend worth it. SummerSlam could be an F tonight, and I am okay with it.
Oh, I forgot to ask, were there's some good matches that we're going to see next week on NXT?
No, not good ones. There was Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven versus Pete Dunne and Wolfgang. And it was kind of funny because Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven are UK Strong Style. I think that's what their group's called in progress. So they're actually together, and then they're going against each other on the show.
WWE needs to fix that. WWE needs to bring that in line with what Progress is doing.
No, and you see, you can't because they don't have enough people on their quote-unquote UK roster. Well, if three of them are together, what do you do with who do you come in with?
What you could do is you could, and this is long-term, but imagine if you get to the point where Adam Cole and Red Dragon are the champions, you could have those three guys, UK Strong Style, invade NXT and take on the ROH team. Yeah,
and that's what I think since the NWO and actually like DX versus Nation, that's the thing wrestling's been missing is two great shields against two great factions against each other. I think the last one that we got was the Shield versus the Wyatt family.
Oh, and that was great.
Yeah, and that was great. So that's what everybody wants. Game warfare is over. It works. So I'm hoping we get something like that. I'm hoping. NXT's already a better show, and then they did what they did last night. It's what you expect at WrestleMania. It's like I want something so big that it makes me look forward to the next year of programming. And like this year WrestleMania, it was like the last match was a match no one wanted to see because we knew how it was going to end. And that's not how your biggest show should end.
Amen. I could not have said it better. So we'll end it there. And for Floyd Johnson Jr. out in the Barclays Center, I am a Silky Dave Brown. And Floyd, I do have a question for you. Can you fuck up your catchphrase this week?
Oh man, I have been working on this, and honestly, I am in such what you would call some people would call a blessed state, some people would call a fortunate state. I'm in such a good mood right now. I don't think I can mess this up because you know from a person that locked himself outside of his car on the way here, and AAA took care of me. I can say this without a doubt. You remember this: life is a work. Please remember to kick out at 2. We'll see you next time around the ring.
Hear the drummer get wicked.